The day started like any other. People went about their business, unaware that something extraordinary was about to happen. It began with a strange noise in the sky, a deep rumble that shook windows and rattled nerves. People looked up in confusion, seeing something they had never seen before, a fleet of enormous ships hovering above Earth. These weren't just any ships. Their designs were sleek and terrifying, with dark metallic surfaces that seemed to absorb the sunlight, making them almost invisible against the backdrop of the sky. They were unlike anything humans had ever seen. At first, no one knew who they were or what they wanted. Governments all over the world scrambled to respond. People were in a panic, and emergency alarms blared in every city. Military forces were put on high alert, but they were unsure what they could do against something so advanced. In the capital of every major country, leaders gathered in secret meetings, trying to figure out a plan. The ships did not make any immediate moves, but their presence alone was enough to fill the air with fear. It felt as if the world was holding its breath, waiting for something terrible to happen. News channels showed images of the alien ships hovering over Earth's largest cities. Some believed they had come to invade. Others thought they might be visitors, but nobody knew for sure. Then, something unexpected happened. A single calm voice echoed through every communication system on Earth. It was clear, direct, and in every language known to humans. Warning: if you wish to survive, leave now. The message was simple, but it sent waves of shock through the entire planet. The world stopped moving for a moment as people tried to understand what they had just heard. Was it a joke? Was it a trick? Who was sending this message? The voice did not identify itself, but it was clear that it was a warning from Earth itself, not an alien transmission. World leaders stared at each other in confusion. Some believed it was a human-made signal, meant to rally the people together. But the timing was too precise, too perfect. Others thought it might be the aliens trying to communicate in their own way, using a method that humans could understand. Yet, as the days passed, it became more apparent that the message was serious. The aliens had not yet attacked, but they were waiting, observing. In the streets, people began to gather in small groups, talking about the message. Some were scared, others were angry. Who are they to tell us what to do? One man shouted on a busy street corner. But others, who were smarter, began to wonder, what if this was the warning they needed? What if these aliens had come to conquer? And this was their way of telling Earth to surrender or face destruction. But no one knew the true purpose behind the message. The only thing certain was that Earth was not prepared for what was coming. The aliens had made their presence known, and humanity had no choice but to figure out what their next move would be. The silence in the air was deafening. A single question hung over the world. What did the aliens want from Earth, and would humanity be ready to face whatever was coming next? The world was still in shock. People had heard the message, but no one knew what to make of it. The aliens were here, and the calm warning, "If you wish to survive, leave now," echoed in every corner of Earth. Some believed it was just a strange form of communication, while others feared it was a threat. But one thing was clear: humanity had never faced anything like this before. In the days that followed, governments all over the world scrambled to respond. Emergency meetings were held, and military forces were put on high alert. But despite their best efforts, they couldn't figure out what to do. The alien ships hovered in the sky, silent but massive. They didn't move toward any one country, but their presence was felt everywhere. While the world's leaders argued about how to handle the situation, something unexpected happened. A second message was broadcast, this time even more direct than the first. It came from an unknown source, an ancient signal prepared long before the aliens arrived. It was a message that had been buried in human history, a secret only a few knew existed. The world heard it at the same time, a simple message in every language: run. At first, no one understood. Was it a code? Was it some kind of secret human plan to fight back? But as the message repeated, it became clear that it was a warning. The voice in the message wasn't from the aliens. It was from Earth itself. It was a message that had been stored, a final call to action for humanity in case they ever faced a situation like this. The broadcast caused confusion, but also a sense of hope. Some believed that this message might be humanity's hidden weapon, a sign that they had a plan, even if no one knew what it was. The message was strange, but there was power in it. Run wasn't just a command. It was a reminder that humanity had a choice. There was still time to act. But how? In secret rooms and underground labs, a group of scientists and engineers had been working on something for years. It was a project no one outside their circle knew about, hidden from the public eye. They had been preparing for a moment like this, a moment when humanity would need its greatest strength. The project wasn't about fighting with weapons or armies. Instead, it was about using something that humans had learned to harness over time: their creativity. The scientists worked quickly, making adjustments and fine-tuning the equipment that could change everything. Their goal wasn't just to survive the alien threat. It was to turn the tables on the invaders. They had a plan, a secret weapon that no one knew about, not even the alien fleet above. But it was risky. The weapon they had created was dangerous, untested, and could either save humanity or destroy everything. As the aliens continued to watch from above, they seemed to grow impatient. Their ships moved slightly, sending signals that were intercepted by Earth's military. But there was no attack. The aliens were waiting for something, perhaps for humanity to surrender, or perhaps to make the next move. But the second broadcast was a reminder. Earth was not helpless. Humanity was not giving up without a fight. The world held its breath. The tension was thick. No one knew what would happen next, but one thing was certain. Earth wasn't going to let the Galactic Empire take it without a struggle. The countdown had begun, and soon, humanity would make its move. Would the aliens be prepared for what was coming? Or had they underestimated the resilience of Earth's people? Only time would tell. As the days passed, the tension on Earth grew heavier. The alien fleet continued to hover above, its massive ships blotting out the sun and casting long shadows over the land. People still didn't know what the aliens wanted, but the warning had been clear: run. And yet, humanity stood firm. There was no mass retreat, no worldwide surrender. People gathered in cities, towns, and villages, talking about the strange message and wondering what the next step would be. But the Galactic Empire, a force that had conquered hundreds of planets, wasn't patient. The Empire had dealt with many worlds, and it was used to getting what it wanted. On the other hand, Earth had never faced anything like this. The Galactic Empire had technology beyond anything humanity could imagine, and yet the humans didn't back down. It angered the alien leaders. The Galactic Empire wasn't going to waste time. Soon, their ships began to move. The sky lit up as powerful beams of energy shot down from the ships, targeting cities all over the world. The first strikes were devastating. Buildings crumbled, fires spread, and the ground shook with the force of the alien weapons. The humans had no way of fighting back against the Empire's power. In moments, entire cities were reduced to rubble. But the alien commanders didn't understand the human spirit. Despite the destruction, Earth didn't fall apart. In fact, the opposite happened. The alien assault sparked something deep inside humanity, a fierce will to survive. The world's leaders met once more, this time with a sense of urgency. They knew they couldn't stop the Empire with ordinary weapons. They had no chance against such advanced technology. But they could do something else. They could fight back with the one thing that had always set humanity apart: its creativity. Across the world, soldiers and civilians alike worked together, setting aside differences to focus on one goal: survival. Human forces didn't rely on massive fleets or powerful weapons, but instead on guerrilla tactics and resourcefulness. Small groups of fighters, using basic equipment, ambushed alien patrols and launched hit-and-run attacks on the Empire's forces. The attacks didn't cause much damage, but they served a powerful purpose: showing the Empire that Earth wasn't an easy target. The alien commanders were confused. Why weren't the humans giving up? Why were they fighting back, even when their cities were destroyed and their technology was no match for the Empire's? It didn't make sense. Their commanders had underestimated Earth's ability to resist, but the Empire's leadership still believed they would win. They had conquered countless worlds, and Earth would be no different. They would break humanity's spirit eventually. But what the Empire didn't know was that the human spirit was far stronger than they could ever imagine. The strikes might have been small, but they showed the Empire something they hadn't expected. Humanity was not easily crushed. There was something powerful in the way humans fought, something the aliens had never encountered before. Deep in hidden bunkers, the scientists and engineers continued to work on their secret project. Time was running out, but they were getting closer. The world had been shaken by the alien attacks, but humanity was not broken. Instead, they were more determined than ever to fight back. The Galactic Empire may have underestimated Earth, but humanity was beginning to show the true power of its creativity and resilience. The Empire had provoked a fight they didn't fully understand. And soon, they would realize that underestimating Earth might be their biggest mistake. As the days turned into weeks, the war between Earth and the Galactic Empire raged on. Alien ships continued to hover above, their powerful weapons tearing through cities and leaving destruction in their wake. But despite the constant bombardment, humanity refused to give up. It was clear that the Galactic Empire had underestimated Earth, and now the Empire was starting to feel the effects of human resilience. In underground bunkers across the world, a secret project had been progressing. The world's top scientists, engineers, and military leaders had been working tirelessly to develop a weapon that could stand against the Empire's overwhelming power. They had no time to waste. The clock was ticking, and every day the aliens grew more aggressive. But this weapon was unlike anything humanity had ever used before. It wasn't a simple bomb or laser. It was something far more unique, a weapon that could disrupt the very fabric of space itself. The scientists had been preparing for years. They knew that one day, humanity might face a threat unlike any other, and they had been readying themselves for that moment. It wasn't about raw power. It was about using the human mind and creativity to turn the tables. The weapon wasn't ready yet, but it was close. Meanwhile, the alien forces grew increasingly frustrated. The humans were not acting like any species they had encountered before. Most civilizations would have already fallen to their superior technology, but Earth was different. Small human resistance groups continued to strike at the Empire, hitting supply lines and disrupting alien forces. It wasn't much, but it was enough to keep the invaders on edge. The Galactic Empire's leaders began to grow impatient. They couldn't understand why humanity was still fighting. Their forces had already crushed major cities, and yet Earth's people refused to surrender. It was clear that Earth was not just defending itself, it was preparing for something. The aliens had underestimated humanity's ability to adapt. The human spirit was far more powerful than they could have imagined. And it wasn't just about willpower. It was about the ability to think creatively, to find solutions where others saw none. The more the Empire attacked, the more human scientists and engineers worked behind the scenes, perfecting their secret weapon. One night, the world held its breath as the scientists finally completed the weapon. It was a device of unimaginable power, capable of disrupting the alien ship's ability to function. It could send shockwaves through space, scrambling their technology and forcing the alien fleet into retreat. But it was risky. No one knew what would happen once it was activated. It could either be the key to victory or lead to their destruction. The decision to use the weapon was not an easy one. The world's leaders gathered in secret, aware that they had one chance to use it. They knew that if the weapon failed, humanity's last hope would be lost. But they also understood that if they did nothing, the alien fleet would eventually crush them. The weapon wasn't just a tool. It was a symbol of everything humanity had fought for. survival, creativity, and the belief that they could overcome any challenge. With the weapon ready, the final stage of humanity's battle with the Galactic Empire had begun. The world waited for the moment when Earth would make its move. Would the Empire finally learn the true power of human resilience? Would Earth's hidden weapon be the key to their survival? The time had come to find out. The alien fleet hovered silently over Earth, its powerful ships blocking out the sun in some places, casting long shadows over the planet below. The Galactic Empire had been relentless, attacking the world's major cities, leaving trails of destruction in their wake. Despite the overwhelming odds, humanity had not surrendered. Instead, they fought back, and each small victory seemed to give them more hope. The world's leaders, now united in their mission to protect Earth, knew that the time had come to make a choice. The secret weapon, designed by the world's brightest minds, was ready. It had the power to cripple the alien fleet, to send shockwaves through the Empire's advanced technology. But it wasn't without risks. No one could predict exactly how the weapon would react. If it failed, Earth's last hope would be gone. In a hidden underground facility, the final preparations were being made. The scientists and engineers who had worked on the weapon were nervous but determined. This was humanity's last chance. The device, which had taken months to build, was carefully checked one final time. It was a marvel of human ingenuity, something no one else in the galaxy had ever seen. But now, it had to be used at the right moment. As the weapon's activation was being prepared, a message from the Galactic Empire arrived. It was a final warning, a last attempt to force Earth into submission. The message echoed across every communication channel. Your resistance is futile. Surrender now, or face total destruction. The alien voice was cold, almost robotic, showing no sign of fear or doubt. But humanity had no intention of surrendering. They had already faced the worst the Empire could throw at them. And they weren't going to stop now. The response was simple. We will not surrender. Back in the command centers, the world's leaders debated the next move. They knew they had one shot to use the weapon. And if it failed, their cities would burn, and their people would be lost. But the human spirit was strong, and the will to survive was undeniable. The weapon was ready, and the time had come to act. As the first alien ships prepared for another strike, the weapon was activated. A brilliant light filled the underground control rooms as the device hummed to life. It was a wave of energy like nothing the aliens had ever seen. The shockwaves shot up toward the sky, powerful and fast, faster than the aliens could react. When the wave hit the alien ships, it was as if a switch had been flipped. The once imposing fleet began to shake and tremble. Systems that had seemed invulnerable now malfunctioned. The massive ships lost power, and some even began to fall out of the sky, crashing into the earth below. It was working. The weapon was working. The alien commanders were thrown into chaos. Their technology, which they had relied on for centuries, was now failing. Ships were dropping from the sky, and their once perfect coordination was now broken. The humans had done it. They had struck a blow to the Empire, and the aliens didn't know how to react. In every corner of Earth, people cheered. For the first time in weeks, there was hope. The weapon had worked. The Galactic Empire, the seemingly unbeatable force that had threatened to crush Earth, was now in disarray. But the battle was far from over. The alien commanders would surely regroup, and the Empire was not a force to be taken lightly. Still, for the first time since the war began, humanity had a fighting chance. They had shown the Empire that Earth was not to be underestimated. The fight for survival was just beginning, but one thing was clear. Humanity's creativity, resilience, and determination had given them a chance to win. The victory was short-lived. Although the weapon had disrupted the alien fleet and caused chaos among the Galactic Empire's forces, the battle for Earth was far from over. The Empire, known for its ruthless determination, quickly began to regroup. The initial shockwave had rattled their ships, but it had not destroyed them. And now, the aliens were furious. The surviving alien commanders were quick to rally their forces. They understood now that Earth was not going to give up easily. Humans were not just fighting for survival. They were fighting for their home, their future, and everything they held dear. This would be a long and brutal war, but the Galactic Empire was prepared to do whatever it took to conquer Earth. As the alien ships began to recover, the skies over Earth darkened once again. This time, the Empire came at full force. They launched wave after wave of attacks, using their most advanced weapons. Huge beams of energy shot from the ships, cutting through buildings and forests alike. The attacks were precise, devastating, and terrifying. The people of Earth had only moments to react. They scrambled to defend themselves, knowing that their previous victory was only a brief respite. Despite the fear, they held on to one thing: the weapon. Humanity had proven that they could fight back, and now they needed to do it again. There was no room for failure. Around the world, the leaders and soldiers quickly mobilized, organizing defense strategies and working to protect what remained of the cities. The weapon might have worked once, but could it work again? The aliens had already adapted, learning from their mistakes. This time, they wouldn't be caught off guard. In the underground command centers, a new plan was set in motion. The weapon was no longer the only option. Humanity had learned valuable lessons during the previous attacks. They now had a better understanding of the Empire's tactics, and they were ready to use that knowledge against the invaders. The key was in precision. Teams of engineers and soldiers worked together, preparing smaller, more focused weapons, tools that could hit the alien ships directly, disabling their weapon systems or crippling their engines. These weapons were not as powerful as the original device, but they were fast and effective. They would have to be used carefully, hitting the aliens where they were weakest. As the first alien ship descended, the humans launched their counterattacks. Precision missiles streaked through the sky, hitting their targets with stunning accuracy. One by one, the alien ships began to lose their firepower. The tide was turning again, but it was a fragile victory. The Empire was not going to surrender so easily. The alien commanders, now fully aware of the humans' resourcefulness, sent out a message of their own. "You cannot win. We are everywhere. We will crush you." The message echoed across Earth, causing fear to rise again. But humanity's response was stronger than ever. "We don't stop fighting." For every alien ship that fell, two more appeared. The war had entered a new phase. The first battle had been won, but the war was far from over. And now, humanity's true strength, its resilience, creativity, and unity, was more important than ever. The Empire had underestimated the humans' will to survive. Earth was not just another planet to conquer. It was a home. And no matter how hard the aliens tried to crush it, the people of Earth would fight to the very end. In every corner of the world, from the bustling cities to the quiet countryside, humanity's determination burned bright. They had shown the Empire their strength, and now they would prove it once more. The fate of Earth was still uncertain, but humanity's fight had only just begun. The Earth had been through unimaginable destruction. Cities were in ruins, and the skies were filled with the dark silhouettes of the alien ships. Despite the constant onslaught from the Galactic Empire, humanity had never wavered. They had learned, adapted, and fought back harder than ever before. Now, in the final hours of the war, they were about to make their last stand. The alien fleet had regrouped once more, their advanced technology and overwhelming numbers still a massive threat. But the humans were not the same as they were at the start of the invasion. They had a new weapon, new strategies, and most importantly, a new understanding of what they were fighting for. Earth's leaders knew this was the endgame. If they didn't win now, everything they had fought for would be lost. In the heart of Earth's military command, a final plan was being laid out. The human forces had drawn the alien fleet into a trap. The Galactic Empire had grown overconfident after the initial shock, thinking they could crush Earth once and for all. But the humans had one last surprise waiting for them. Across the world, Soldiers, engineers, and ordinary citizens had been preparing for this moment. The resistance groups, now well organized and efficient, had hidden in the shadows, gathering all the weapons, knowledge, and resources they could. They had learned from every defeat and every victory, and they knew the time had come to strike with everything they had. As the alien ships moved in for the final assault, the humans activated their secret weapon once again. This time, however, the weapon was not just a shockwave. It was a series of targeted attacks designed to disable the alien ships one by one. It was a coordinated strike, using Earth's best technology combined with a deep understanding of the alien fleet's weaknesses. The aliens had never expected the humans to be so clever. The battle in the skies above Earth was fierce. The humans launched everything they had, from precision missiles to high-powered lasers, attacking the alien ships with pinpoint accuracy. The alien fleet, once so powerful, began to crumble under the relentless assault. Alien ships fell from the sky, crashing into the Earth below, causing massive explosions. The humans had turned the tide. But even as the alien fleet weakened, their commanders were not about to give up. They called in their final reinforcements, sending their strongest ships to destroy Earth once and for all. The humans were outnumbered, but their spirit was unbreakable. At the front lines, soldiers and fighters gave their all. There were no more retreats, no more waiting. It was do or die. Families, friends, and neighbors all fought together, knowing that the fate of the world depended on them. The sky was filled with the sound of explosions, but beneath it all was the sound of Earth's heartbeat, a strong, steady rhythm of defiance. Then, as the final battle reached its peak, Earth's last weapon was unleashed. A powerful surge of energy shot into space, reaching the remaining alien ships and shutting them down. The Galactic Empire's fleet fell silent. The humans had done it. The Empire's invasion had failed. Earth was safe. The world erupted into celebration. The long fight had come to an end. Earth had withstood the most powerful force the galaxy had to offer. They had shown the Empire what humanity was capable of. They had proven that no matter how dark the odds seemed, the human spirit could never be broken. In the aftermath, as the last of the alien ships drifted away, Earth began to rebuild. The people had not only saved their home, but they had shown the galaxy a powerful truth. Earth was not just a planet to be conquered. It was a place of strength, creativity, and resilience, a place where humanity would always stand tall. The war was over, but the legacy of humanity's victory would live on forever.